From nearly bankrupt to a multi-billion-dollar company, Marvel Studios has solidified themselves as one of the largest and most successful modern movie industries in the 21st century. The strategies they use to become successful will continue to evolutionize the modern movie industry. I'm going to talk about who Marvel Studios is, the strategies they use to become successful, and the effect that their success has on the rest of the industry. First, let's talk about Marvel Studios. Marvel Studios is a large media franchise. According to Tim DeFrost in an article he wrote called Marvel Comics in 2019, Marvel Studios began producing films in 2008. And since 2008, all their films have been produced, and their films are based on characters in Marvel Comics, and the storylines are everything's based on Marvel Comics. They're a Disney-owned product, and over those 12 years, they've been very successful, producing 23 films and generating over $10 billion in revenue. In an article written by Scott Mendelson in a 2018 Forbes magazine, the most recent film, Avengers Endgame, generated $2.79 billion in revenue, which is the largest ever in box office history. Now that you know a little bit about Marvel Studios, let's talk about the strategies they use to become successful. The first one was discovered in Great Power, Great Responsibility, an article written by Keith Joslins. He discusses how Marvel's licensing rights helps them succeed, as they have this huge pool to select their characters from and their stories from, and they're also able to sell off licensing rights. The second strategy is personalizing their characters. Personalizing their characters means to allow more screen time for their actors' personal faces out of the costume, allowing their fan base to really like their characters and adore them and really love the whole Marvel industry. The third one is similar storylines. Every story has a similar storyline and similar basis. They're all Marvel comics, so they all kind of have similar stories, and allows them to create new viewers, as each viewer can come into any movie and any series and really understand what's going on. So you don't need to know previous movies in the series. And the fourth one, as discussed in Bart Betty article Superfan Service she wrote in 2016, their characters are from across multiple mediums. That allows them to produce movies that have characters from one show and put them into another show with another character, so they're allowed to cross mediums with all their characters, so they can create shows from that are like mega shows that have multiple characters from multiple shows. The last one is consistent release times. Consistent release times allows them to intrigue and continue to intrigue characters by their producing so many movies in 1 year. They've had 23 movies in 12 years. That's almost 2 movies a year. So they're continually marketing and producing these movies at a very fast rate. Now knowing Marvel Studios' strategies, let's talk about how their success in these strategies has evolutionized the modern movie industry. The effects of Marvel Studios' strategies are tremendous. The first one, let's talk. According to Jeremy Aspinall, in an article he wrote in 2018, the amount of competitors trying to copy Marvel's ways are seen more than ever. Since they become so successful, you see all these movies trying to create these universes that Marvel has portrayed in their movies and try and switch their means of their movies over to the same format. Another change is the change of the superhero genre. Everybody wants to be Marvel. So they hold every movie that comes in the superhero genre to the Marvel standard. So every new movie that comes in is based on, is it as good as the Marvel movies, and so on like that. People want to be Marvel characters. As discussed in Maloney Rosetta's article in 2019 called Marvel Cinematic Universe and Pop Culture, she discusses how you see more Marvel characters in the society today. As that, I mean people wearing their costumes, people wearing their clothing, their brand. That's a really good marketing technique that a lot of companies have never used in the movie industry, and you see it more than ever now as everybody wants to be these superheroes. Their brand is everywhere, and it's super important. Now that we understand what the success has had on the movie industry, let's just recap here. So we've discussed who Marvel Studios is, we've discussed their strategies that made them successful, and we discussed how the success affects the movie industry. There's no doubt that Marvel Studios' success has impacted and revolutionized the modern movie industry. It's clear that their strategies will continue to be portrayed and tried to copy for years to come, changing the cinema universe. So sit back, kick back, relax, and enjoy the show.